Hello everyone. I'm so sorry for the delay due to some network problem. Maybe there is some network problem. So let's continue with the previous session, that is the last class session. And in the today's class, I'm going to start with the next topic, next chapter, that is chapter number 15, miscellaneous features in C language. That is, what are the miscellaneous features that is available in the C language. In the last class we have finished with the operators, that is what are the types of operator that is used in the C language or that we used in the C language. So let us discuss about the some operators that we have discussed in the last class. In the last class we have discussed about the right shift operator. Means as the left shift or the right shift operators means the bits are moving towards the right. For example, if my target is to move the bits to the right by 2 digits or by 2 bits. This means the last two bits, that is on the right hand side bits, are moving together or move together to the right side. That is, they are shifted towards right side and they become zeros. So we have discussed about this one. For example, this is the variable, or for example, this is the method how we can shift the or how we can use the right shift or left shift operators. For example, this is the bit pattern, right? CH1 means we are shifting towards the right. This means now this will move towards the right, this will go on, and this place will be vacant. That vacant place will be filled by the zeros. In the same way, when we right shift the 2, these 2 vacant space are filled by the 2 zeros. So these are the ways how we can right shift or how we can left shift the bits. So this is known as the right shift operator that we have discussed in the last class. Then we have also discussed about the formula coding, that is how we can use the or how we are able to use the right shift operator in C language. This is the output of this one. Then we will discuss about the left shift operator, that is what is the left shift operator and what is the difference between the right shift operator and the left shift operator. The main difference is that in the right shift operator the bits are moved towards the right, but in left shift operator the bits are moved towards the left. This is the program of left shift operator. Then we will discuss how these bits are organized in a memory, or how these bits are organized or displayed in the operating system, that is for example DOS operating system, that is a disk operating system. Then we will discuss about the next operator, that is the bitwise AND operator. This is the same as the logical AND, means the same means the output is the same but it is represented by single ampersand. Remember, it is different than this one. This is the logical AND operator. So there is a difference between the logical or bitwise AND operator and the logical AND operator. Bitwise AND is represented by single ampersand and logical AND is represented by double ampersand. This operates on only 2 operands, while operating on these 2 operands they are commanded or compared on a bit by bit basis. This is the example. When we have to find out the bitwise AND operator, this is the output. Then we will discuss how we can use the AND operator, whether it is used to check whether a bit is on or the off. This is the AND mask, right? Then this is the example. This is the function that is to check or test whether a bit in a number is on or off. This is the main function. This is the example. This is the coding part. First of all, taken the value of I as a 65 and j as a simple variable. Then printf value of I equals to %ti. That is the value of I will be printed over here. Then find out the bitwise AND between the 65 and the 32. The main crux is that first of all 65 is converted into the bits and 32 is also converted into the bits. Then and only then these two variables are compared by each other by using the bitwise AND operator. And then using the if condition for checking the condition, if both are the equal, that is if j equals to 0, that means the output is 0, that is output is false, then printf the AND bit or AND its fifth bit is off, else AND its fifth bit is on. This is the next example. Now compare the 65 with 64. Then again check for the J if it is equals to 0, whereas its 6 bit is off, 6 bit is on. This is the example. This is also example that we have studied in the last class. Then we have studied about the next operator, that is the bitwise OR operator. This is the almost same as the logical OR operator, that will be represented by double pipes. This is represented by single pipe. Pipe means a single, this one. The rules that governs the value of resulting bit obtained after the OR ring of 2 bits is shown in the truth table below. This is the truth table that is used. Using the truth table confirms the result obtained on OR ring the 2 operands as shown below. This is the example. Bitwise OR operator is usually used to put on a particular bit in a number. So this is the this means bitwise OR operator means whenever the output of 2 inputs, means any one of the output of 2 inputs is correct, then and only then the output is correct. Otherwise the output is false. In AND operator, both the input must be true, then only the output is true. But in OR operator, any one of the input is even true, then the output is true. Then we have discussed about the next operator, that is the bitwise XOR operator. That means OR of X, that is the XOR operator. First of all, we have to find the OR operator, then compare the AND or the OR operator. The differences in OR and the XOR operator is that in OR operator, if any one of the input is true, then the output is true. But this is the different one. If both the inputs are true, then only the output is false. Otherwise, output is true in each and every case. I am repeating again. In bitwise XOR operator, if both the inputs are true, then only the output is false. Otherwise, in every case, the output is true. That is the 1. This is the example that we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the show bits function, that we have discussed, or that we have used this function again and again in each and every chapter, each and every function that is used to show the bits in the memory, or that is used to display the bits over the screen. That is done by the show bits function. This is the function, this is the example that we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the summary. This is the most important part. This says to help manipulate hardware oriented data, individual bits rather than bytes, a set of bitwise operators are used. That means we have to use, or in this we are using the individual bits rather than a byte, a set of bitwise operator. That means individual bits are used for displaying. Second point says the bitwise operators includes operators like ones complement, right shift, left shift, bitwise AND or XOR. So these are the various operators that we have studied in this chapter. Then third point says the ones complement converts all zeros into the ones and all ones into the zeros. That means in this, when we are finding the AND operator, or sorry, ones complement operator, then all the ones are denoted or converted into the zeros, and all zeros are converted into the ones. Then next point says the right shift and the left shift operators are useful in eliminating, means whenever my requirement is that to remove the bits, these two operators are very useful. Which two operators? The left shift and the right shift operators. Then next point says the bitwise AND is useful in testing whether a bit is on or off and in putting off a particular bit. In the same way, the bitwise OR is used, that is to check on or off, and then XOR is used, that is same as the OR operator, but the difference is that it gives the output as a false when both the inputs are true. This is what we have discussed in the last class. These are the various summaries. Now let's discuss about the chapter number 15, or let's start with the chapter number 15, that is the miscellaneous features. So let's start with the today's topic, that is the chapter number 15, that is the miscellaneous features. In this there are various topics like enumerated data type. What is the use of enumerated data type? Are enums necessary? That is the short form of enumerated data types is enum. So this question arises, are enum, that is the enumerated data types, necessary for the C language? Then how to rename the data type? Suppose my requirement is that I have to rename the data type. Suppose int, I have to give the rename of the int to the Harry. That is also done by using the typedef function. Then typecasting, that means conversion of one data type into the another. Then bit fields, pointer to functions, function returning pointers, functions with the variable number of arguments. That is, we are using n number of arguments within a function parameters. Then union, what is a union? What is the difference between union and structure? Then volatile qualifier. So these are the various miscellaneous features that is available in C language. So let's start with the chapter. This says the topics discussed in this chapter were either too large or too removed from the mainstream C programming for inclusion in the earlier chapters. These topics provide certain useful programming features and could prove to be of immense help in certain programming strategies. Means these chapters are this chapter is very important chapter and helpful in the programming strategies. Certain programming. It is not applicable to all the strategies, but it is applicable to a certain programming strategies. In this chapter, we will examine enumerated data type, typedef, typecasting, pointers, functions, argument, unions. So let's start with the first topic, that is the enumerated data type. The enum data types gives you an opportunity to invent your own data type. That is, it provides an opportunity, or it gives an provision to invent. Invent means to introduce your own data type and define what values the variable of this data type can take. That is, my provision is that, my requirement is that I have to create my own data type. That is done by the enum. So enum is a variable that is used to define, that is used to create our own data type and define what value the variable of this data type can take. This means defining the data type as well as assigning the values is also done by the enumerated data type. This can help in making the program listing more readable, which can be an advantage when a program gets complicated. That is, whenever we have to invent our own data type and define the value, then it is of one of the advantage when a program gets complicated, or when more than one programmer would be working on it. Using enum data type can also help you reduce programming errors. So if there is any programming error, that programming error can also be removed by using the enum data type. As an example, one could invent a data type known as the mer status, that is a marital status, which can have four possible values. So this enum data type, or this data type, that is a mer status, have four possible values. What are the four possible values? It may be single, it may be married, it may be divorced, it may be widowed. So this is a marital status. Either the marital status is single, married, divorced, or widowed. Don't confuse these values with variable names. Married, for example, has the same relationship to the variable marriage status as the number 15 has with the variable of type int. So this means we have defining, or we are able to define the enum data type with the basic examples, or with the basic data types, that is done by using the enum data type. The format of the enum definition is similar to the structure. Remember about the structure. We have done with the structure. So structure is a user defined data type. In the same way, enum is also a user defined data type. Here how the example stated can also be incremented. This is the enum, this is the keyword that is used like a structure. Then mar status, that is the marital status. Then there is a curly braces. Then there are multiple types of enum, that is single, married, divorced, widowed. So these are the four data types, or these are the four values of the enum. Then there is a curly braces closed, then there is a semicolon. So this is the syntax. First of all, enum keyword is used, then name of the enumerator, then there is a curly braces, then there are four values like single, divorced, widowed and the married. Then curly braces will be closed, and there is a semicolon after the curly brace, means enum will be terminated by using the curly braces. Then in the same way as we done in the structure, these are the two variables of the enum data type. What are the variables? One is person1 and one is person2. So these are the two variables of the enum, that is a mar status. Like structures, this declaration has two parts. The first part declares the data type and specifies its possible values. This defines the data type, this is the mar status, and define the possible values. These values are known as the enumerators. So these values, single, married, divorced, widowed, are known as the enumerators. The second part declares the variable of this data type. This person1, person2 are the variables of the data type, that is the enum data type. So till now we have covered so many data types like int, char, float, long, structure. Now we have, this chapter also introduces another data type, that is the enum data type. So what is the requirement of enum? If there is a structure available in C language, that is a user defined data type, so what is the requirement? Now this requirement will be coming up after 2 or 3 paragraphs. Means we are not supposed to define the values in the variables. Like in structure, if I have to given, or if I have to assign some values, then first of all I have to declare the variable and assign the value. But if I am using the enum data type, there is no requirement for specifying the values by using the equals to sign. No, simply it will get the value starting from the 0. That is, the first variable takes the 0, second variable takes the 1, and so on till n number of variables. So this is now we can give the values to these variables. Person1 equals to married. So this person1 has got the value married. Then person2 got the value divorced. So this is an example. Remember, we can't use values that are not in the original declaration. That is, we cannot use the values that are not declared over here. So these are the enumerators that is used with the enum data type variables. The following expression would result in error. So this is the expression that would give an error. What is the expression? %1 equals to unknown. Unknown means because there is no enumerator that is defined in this, that is the unknown. So these enumerators must be defined in the enumeration or enumeratory data type. Then and only then we are using the variable, or we are assigning the variable, or we are giving the value of that enumerator to the variable. Internally, the compiler treats the enumerator as an integer. So this is the most important point. Internally means by default or in the memory, this enumerator will be treated as an integer value. Means it does not take the char value, but it takes the integer values. Each value on the list of permissible values correspond to an integer starting with the 0. As I told you, it starts with the 0, means all the values. Suppose single. Now single got the 0, then 1 got the married. So therefore in an example, single is treated as 0 or stored as 0. Married is stored as 1. Divorced is stored as 2. Then widowed is stored as 3. So it starts with the 0. Depending on the enumerator position, it gives the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on till n number of enumerators. This way of assigning numbers can be overridden by the programmer by initializing the enumerators to different integer values. Means this is the by default, that is the by default that is already available, that is 0 1 2 3 4. But uh, uh, we have also a provision as a C programmer or as a user, then we can assign the values of the enumerators as we need. So if my requirement is that I have to assign the values of enumerators, I can do so. This is the example. This is single equals to 100, married equals to 200, divorced 300, widowed 400. So these are the values that is given to the different enumerators. And these are the two variables that is defined in the next line, that is person 1 and person 2. So this paragraph says either we can give the values by our own, or either the C programming or the system takes the values starting from the 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on till n number of enumerators. Now, what is the use of enumerated data types? That is, what is the use of, or why we are using the enumerated data type? This says these are usually used to clarify the operation of a program. So these enumerated variables are usually or are generally used to clarify the operation of a program. For example, if we need to use employee department in a payroll program, it makes the listing easier to read if we use values like assembly, manufacturing, accounts rather than the integer value 0, 1, 2. That means this will clarify the operation of the program. That is the main thing, or that is the main usage of the enumerator. Why? Because we are defining the different variables as an enumerators, like assembly, manufacturing, accounts, rather than giving the values like 0, 1, 2 as we done in the simple variable. For example, if I'm using sum, then sum equals to 0, flag equals to 1. No, there is no requirement. Automatically it takes the assembly as a 0, manufacturing as a 1, accounts as a 2 and so on till n number of enumerators. The following program illustrates the point I am trying to make. So this program, or this gives the program that how it will be used. This is the hash include stdi.h string.h. Then there is a void main. Then this is the enum data type that is declare. What is the name of the enumerator? That is the employee department. That is the emp dept. Then there are four values, or there are four enumerators that is used. One is assembly, one is manufacturing, one is accounts, one is stores. Now uses the one structure variable, that is the structure char name 30. So this or structure variable contains the name as an value, as an variable that contains the array, or that is an array that contains 30 values starting from 0 to 29. Then there is a age, that is of integer type, BS, that is a basic salary, that is also a float type. Then enum, employee department, DPT, department. So this is the enum that is also declared within the structure. Now define one variable of the structure, that is a E. Now copy the, or using the strcpy function for copying the string, that is ename Lothar Matthews. So e.name is the name that is captured by using the structure variable e. So this is the name that is given by the user. Then means storing the name of Lothar Matthews into the ename. Why? Because strcopy function is used to copy the content of the destination to the source. Now this is the destination, that is the Lothar Matthews, and e.name is the source. So this Lothar Matthews is going into the e.name. Then uses e.age, that is we are supplying the values of age by using the dot operator, that is 28. Then e.ps, that is 5575.50. Then e.department, that is a manufacturing. So these are the various data that is available by using the structure variable, that is the e. Now print the value of name, or print the name, age, basic salary, department. Now check for the department. These are displayed by using the dot operator. This is the e.name, e.age, e.bs, e.department. Now check the department by using the condition, by using the if condition. That is, if E dot department equals to announce. That is, if the department is accounts, then printf percentage s is an accountant. That is, what is the percentage s? That is a string. That is the name of the employee. That is denoted by the E dot name. Else, that is, if the department is not accounts, then percentage s is not an accountant. That the name is not an accountant. That is the name that is given is not an accountant. So this is a program that shows how it will be used. Now this is the output. Suppose user is giving the name, that is a Lothar Matthew. Suppose, no, this is not suppose, this is the obvious, that is using the strcpy function for copying the program or for copying the name Lothar Matthews into the E dot name. So E dot name contains the Lothar Matthews. So name equals to Lothar Matthews, age equals to 28, basic salary equals to 557.50, department equals to 1. Lothar Matthews is not an accountant. Why? Because department is 1. Now 1 is manufacturing, because it starts with the 0, then 1, 2. So this department, if department is equals to the 2, then and only then it is the Lothar Matthews is an accountant. Otherwise it is 0. Let us now discuss the program. We first define the data type, that is the enum employee department, and specify the 4 possible values. As we have discussed, we are specifying the 4 possible values, that is assembly, manufacturing, accounts, storage, that is the stores. Then we have defined a variable, that is the department of the type enum employee department. So we are defining the variable of the department of the enum depth. The structure employee has 3 other elements that contains the employee information like age, basic salary, and the name. The first or program first assigns the value of variable in the structure by using the E dot department equals to manufacturing. So this is the allocation part, or this is the assignment part. It is assigning the values of manufacturing to the department. That assigns the value manufacturing to the E dot department variable. What is the value of the manufacturing? This is the 1, because in enum it always starts with the 0. The next part of the program shows an important weakness of using the enum. There is no way to use the enumerated values directly in input-output like printf and scanf. That is, there is no provision or there is no criteria. If I suppose to use the enum, then we are using that by using other data type, that is by structure, by union, by int, by float. The printf is not smart enough to perform translation. The department is printed out as a, you want to run this program. I will show you a different program that is also related with this one. Simply used to print the values of month, different months. Just wait. Just wait for a moment. No issues. So this printf is not smart enough to perform the translation. The department is printed out as a 1 and not manufacturing. Of course, we can write a function to print the corrected enumerator type using a sys statement. But the reduction of the clarity is removed. So next part is, are enum necessary? Before moving to the next part, let's do a practical approach of like a similar program, not a this program, because if I am doing this program, that does not work. Now let's discuss with another program, or let's discuss with a similar program. So let's do a practical approach. Yeah, hello. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing a similar program, not just same program, but similar program. Uh, yeah, no, no, no. This is not a program. This is a program to just show how to use a enumerated data type. Let's take this program, then you can ask the doubts. First of all, the header files will be included. That is hash include stdio.h. Now my requirement is using the string, so I have to use the string data type or string header file. Now let's start with the void main. Now let's start with the curly braces. Now first of all, let's example I'm defining the enum as a capital. Suppose capital includes Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Right. Now I'm closing the enum by using the semicolons. Now I'm defining one structure, that is a struct, for example state. Then I'm defining the name as an array that contains 15 values. Then for example I'm declaring one enum, that is a capital, that is C. For example, this is the variable of the capital C, right? Then I've closed this structure, then uses the structure variables like struct state. For example, I am using the S, right? Now I have to copy the function by using the strcpy function that uses the s dot name comma in double quotes. For example, if I am using Andhra Pradesh, right? Now I have to assign the value of s dot c, that is using the capital of this one into the for example I'm using the Hyderabad because it contains the two values, that is the it's 0 1 2. Yeah. Now I'm using this can be done. Now I'm using clear screen over here. Now I have to print the values by using the printf statement. I'm using slash n, that is a state, that is then using this one, then this one, then double quotes. This is s dot name. Why? Because we are using the structure. Then printf capital percentage c, we are using this one percentage C, then use this S dot C. Now check the condition. If S dot C equals to Hyderabad, then printf Hyderabad is a capital of S. For example, in the next line, now this is the program. Now if I compile this program, first of all I have to save this program. This is the program of a enum, that is the enum.cpp. Now if I compile this program, there is 11 errors. Wow! There is a syntax error, that is a Mumbai, Bangalore. There is no semicolon over here. Now if I compile this program, there are only 2 errors. Too many data types are declared, like struct, state, s. So this is the variable that is declared over here, that is a structure type, that is a struct. This semicolon is missing. Now there is only one error. Undefined variable, that is a Hyderabad. Okay, here wrongly I have used HD. Now if I run this program, there is no error. This can be removed. Now if I compile this program, there is no output because we have not defined the getch over here. Now if I define the getch over here, now the output is, the state is Andhra Pradesh, because we have given the state as an Andhra Pradesh by copying the data. Now capital is Hyderabad, as we are using the S dot C equals to Hyderabad. Then using the Hyderabad is a capital of this one. That is, if the SC is equal to Hyderabad, then Hyderabad is a capital of S. That is a giving the name, that is a S dot name. So this is a program that shows that Hyderabad is a capital of the S. That is, Hyderabad is a capital of state, that is a Andhra Pradesh. If I have to clarify this one, I have to use this one over here. Now if I compile this program, this is the perfect answer, that is Andhra Pradesh, and Hyderabad is a capital of Andhra Pradesh. So this is the same program. We are using void main. We are starting with these header files, then we are using the void main, then there is a enum, that is a capital data enum that contains 3 capitals. One is Mumbai, one is Bangalore, one is Hyderabad. Then using the structure, the name of the structure is state. Then using the char name 15 enum capital C, means we are declaring the capital or declaring the variable of the enum, that is a capital that has a C data type or C variable. This is the definition of the structure. This is the definition of the enum. Now defining the variable of the structure, that is the S. Now copying the data of Andhra Pradesh into the S dot name, that is in name we are defining the value as a Andhra Pradesh. Now defining the Hyderabad into the S dot C. This means using the structure variable, using the dot operator, using the enum variable, that is C, and defining or assigning the Hyderabad into the S dot C. Then using the clear screen for clearing the screen. Then uses the printf. The state name is S dot name. What is contained or what contained in S dot name? This is contained in S dot name, that is the Andhra Pradesh. Then capital. What is contained in capital? That is in S dot C, that is a Hyderabad. Now compare if the S dot C equals to Hyderabad. If it is okay, then a printf Hyderabad is a capital of percentage S, and we have defined the Hyderabad into this one. So this is the printed, that is Hyderabad is a capital of percentage S. Then S dot name, that is the name of the Andhra Pradesh. Then the output will be printed. This is the program that shows how enum will be used. Suppose I have changed this one. If I'm using this one. Here, if I'm using Mumbai. Right. Now, what is the output? Let's see. There is no output. Why? Because the state is Andhra Pradesh, but there is no capital. Why? Because the condition is not correct. That is, Hyderabad is a capital of this one is not shown. Because I have not given the else part, so the output is blank. If I am given else part, that the wrong input, then the output will be displayed as it is. But here the output is not come. Why? Because we have not given the else part, and this is not Hyderabad. Right. This is the example that shows how we are using the data type or enum data type. Now, the same program, if I compile, this is the output. Olesam or everyone, this program is clear to you? Yes, this is clear to you? Not clear. Why? Mhm. Yes. Yeah, yeah, sure. Uh, be, Uh, yeah, right. Because we are using the character over here, string over here. If I exclude this one, let's example, if I exclude this one, right? If I run this program, there is one error. What is the error? The function strcpy is not working. So whenever we have to use the string function, whether it may be strcpy, whether it may be strcat, so we have to include the header file that is a string.h. So for this function, we have to use the header file. Yeah, strcpy is a function of the string for copying the string from one part to the another part. Uh, S and C are the variables of the data type. These are the user-defined data type, enum and the structure. So there is no way to define over here. These variables are defined in place of the in place of the this one, that is a data type enum and the struct. This means whenever we have to define our own data types like structures, enum, so we have to define the variables after the semicolon, after the semicolon. Uh, the main function is that it is a user-defined data type, and what are the enum operators that we have defined over here that are assigning the values in the memory. For example, in this example, the Mumbai is allotted the value as a 0 in the memory. Bangalore is allotted the 1, Hyderabad is allotted the 2 value. Yeah, yeah, that is also Yes, there is no requirement. This is just an example that's why the chapter name is miscellaneous features. That means these are the miscellaneous parts, whether you can use or whether you cannot use. This depends on the requirement of the user, requirement of the programmer. Because in enum is a good, not a good data type because there are so many limitations. We have to use the structure for defining the enum variables. So there are so many limitations. That's why these are included in the miscellaneous features, not the main features. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, sure. Every program is done without enum. But you know the concept? If you are using the enum, that means we are allotting or by default the C programming will allot the numbers to the different variables. The first variable got the 0 number, second variable got the 1 number, 2 number, 3 number and so on depending on the number of enumerators. Shall we proceed further? Okay, thanks a lot. Now this is the time for the break. It's 5 o'clock. So let's take a break right now and then starting with the next topic, then starting with the next program, basically practical approach, one more program, then continue with the next part. So let's take a break first of all. Let's continue with the practical approach of the enum data type. So come back from the break. Let's take a practical approach on a enum data type so that your concepts are clear. I have discussed or I will discuss only one program more. So let's start with the practical approach. Suppose my target is that I have to show how to use the enum data type. What is the usage of enum data type? So first of all, defining the hash include, that is the header file, that is hash include stdir.h, the same header file. Then using the hash include conio.h, then using the void main function, then uses the curly braces, then uses the enum, then uses the month. For example, I have declared the month as a Jan, then Feb, then March, then April, then May, then June, then July. For example, this is the example till July, right? Then uses the curly braces, then using CLR SCR for clearing the screen. Then now I have to print out the values of only using the flash n for the next line. For example, Jan, that is Jan equals to percentage %d, that is using the variable Jan, right? In the same way I am using this one again. Where is the program? For example, Feb equals to, this is the Feb. Now again using the paste, that is March equals to, this is a March. For example, like this one. Now this is the winding up of this one, that is using the curly brace, using the Alt F9. There are 4 errors. This is expected. This means this is expected. There is some error in this one, that is the Jan Feb. There is no space in between this one. Now if I compile this code, there are again 4 errors, that is expected. I have defined one enum as a variable, then uses the curly braces. This says this is not expected, so we have to use the curly braces over here. This is the log curly braces. Now if I run this program, there is no error, there is success. Now if I compile this program, there is no output. Why? Because we have not used the getch. Now if I'm using the getch over here, Now let's see what is the output. Jan equals to 0, Feb equals to 1, March equals to 2. So this is just a program to show how enum variables are stored or how enumerators are stored in the memory. That is the first variable, that is the first enumerator is stored as a or given as a value 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it starts with a 0, then go into the next part, and we are supposed to print n number of, or we are able to print n number of variables of the enum. The second method is that I'm using the curly brace over here, I'm using the enum over here. So this is also the way I'm using. Now if I again code this one, the same output will be available. Right. Now suppose my requirement is that I have to print the July first of all. Then I have to use the July, then the output is this one. This is Jan, Feb, March. Why Feb? Because here I have not changed this one. This is if I use this one, July. Now if I compile this code, the Jan has the value 0, the July has a value 6, the March has a value 2, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So July has a value 6. So it starts with a 0, it ends with the n number of, or n number of variable that is used. This is the enum, that is the enum 1. I have saved this file. So this program I think is clear to you. Now my next requirement is that I want to use, I don't want to start with the 0. My requirement is that I have to use, or I have to start with the 1. That is, we have to define the 1 in the enum. So my requirement is that it starts with the 1, not with the 0. So I have to use Jan equals to 1 over here, nothing else. Again I am repeating, my target is that, or user requirement is that I have to start with the 1, not with the 0, because it is by default start with the 0. So if I want to give, or if I want to give, start with the 1, then simply give Jan equals to 1. If I compile this program, there is no error, there is success. If I execute this program, now let's see the difference. Jan has a value 1, July has a value 7, March has a value 3. Why? Because now it is using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now suppose I have to use, or I have to start with the 7, for example. Then this is Jan equals to 7, July equals to 13, March equals to 9. Means it starts with the number that has the first number, then go on increasing one by one with the next number. Right. Now suppose I have given over here March equals to 8, for example. If I run this program, there is success. If I execute this program, let's see the difference. Jan has a value 0. Why? Because it is taken the value as a by default. July has a value 12, March has a value 8. Why? March is given the 8, this is 9, this is 10, this is 11, this is 12. Suppose my target is to print the Feb, then it has a value 1, because it has a 0, it 1, it is 8, then there are so many numbers, means we have to define the numbers as per my requirement within the variable, within the enumerators, within the enum variables. Right. So I think this program is clear to all of you. Now let's continue with the topic. Then after 5 to 10 minutes, good Nelda, after 5 to 10 minutes I'm again starting with the practical approach, so that your concept is clear. Now let's continue with the next part. That is this part. This says, are enum necessary? This is the question, that why it is, that is, for example, the OLSM has a question, why enum is necessary. So this is the answer to the question of the OLSM also. This is necessary yeah, this is necessary. Why? Because is there a way to achieve what I have achieved during enum in the previous program? Yes, using macros as shown below. So suppose enum is not used. So have to use one, we have to define the macros over here. Suppose in the previous example, assembly has a value 0, manufacturing has a value 1, 2, 3, right? So if I'm declaring the macro, this also serves the same purpose, that is macro serves the same purpose as the enum does. Why? Because we have to define the assembly as a 0, manufacturing as a 1, accounts as a 2, stores as a 3. So in this we have defined the various macros. So instead of using the enum, we have defined the macro. So there is no hard and fast rule that we are using the enums. This is a miscellaneous feature that we have to use or we have not to use. This is the example. The same struct employee is used, the same number of variables, the same structure variable, that is E, there is a strcpy function, then there is a enum or ename Lothar Matthews, then e.h, that is a 28, then e.basic salary, then e.department. So these are the various contents that is available over here. So this is the structure variable, num variable, and next variable. Why Nelda, what happens? You are not seeing? Means the screen is not audible to you. Sorry, the screen is not visible to you. But this is okay. I'm just again putting this one. Yes. Uh, okay. This is not visible to you. Now it's okay. 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 Now it's visible. No. Okay. All right. Just a moment. Now it's visible. Just a moment. Just try from your end because from my end it's visible because it is showing the on air from here. The screen is blank. Okay, just a moment. Yes. Okay, and now 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 it's visible. It's not visible. Yes, yes. Tell me. Yeah, hello. Tell me. Not visible. Okay. Okay. Just a minute. I will try. Just a minute. Before doing this one, everything is visible to you. Okay. Now let's see the practical approach. Now this is visible to you. This screen. No. This blue screen is visible or not? Okay, this is visible file, edit, search. This is visible to you. Blue screen is not visible. Okay. Let's try. Which one? But if I close this one, then I have to again restart that one. That takes lots of time. Uh, let's see. Yes, yeah, I'm trying to get the screen, but that is not possible because there are some network problem. So let's try this one. I'm trying this one. Yeah, it is visible right now. Okay, okay. Let's continue with the session. Welcome. This says, are enum necessary? Means what is the requirement of the enum, or it is necessary to use the enum or not. So there is no necessary of the enum. That the same task of the enum can also be carried out by using the macro. So this says the same task is carried out by using the macro. We have to define the macro over here. This is the macro. That is there a way to achieve what we have achieved using the enums? Yeah, there is a way. By using the macros, we have to achieve the target. So this is hash include string.h, then define the macros that assembly has a value 0, manufacturing has a value 1, accounts has a value 2, stores has a value 3. Then using the void main function, using the structure variable as a or structure as a employee, then using the char name 30 int age, the same example, the same strcpy function for copying the content of Lothar Matthews into the e dot name, the same e dot age, e dot bs, e dot department. If the same effect, convenience and irreadability can be achieved using macro, then why should we prefer enum? The main reason is that macros have a global scope, whereas the scope of enum can either be global or local. That is, when we are using the enum, that scope will be only to the local or as well as the global. But if I'm using the macro, the scope will be available at the global level. That is, it is available at the global. Every scope, every block can use this macros programming. Now, how to rename data type with the type def? That is the next part. That is how to use the or how to define the data type with the type def. Before proceeding to this one, let's discuss with the some more examples of the type def. Now let's discuss with the examples. Suppose my requirement is that I have to use one example. For example, to display the name of the days of a week. For example, my requirement is that I have to display the names of the days of the week. For example, there is a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I have to print that names by using the C language, by using the C programming language. So let's start with the defining the names. This is a screen. Now the screen is visible to you, everyone. Okay, thanks a lot. Suppose I'm using this one, hash include. Okay, variable. Now using the void main function, so my program is that I have to display the names of the days of the week. So I've defined one variable, that is int day comma I, then using the clr scr, then using the printf, from 1 to 7, then using the scanf, then using the day, then using the 4, that is I equals to 0, then I is less than equals to day, that is denoted by the, or that is given by the user, then I plus plus, then again using the curly braces. I think there is no need for this one because I have to use the switch case. So I'm using the switch like this one. Then there is a bracket. Then there is I. Now using the this one. Then case 1. What is the case 1? For example, this is the case 1. Printf. For example, the first day is Sunday, so this is Sunday. If I have to print in the next line, so I have to use this one. Now there is a break statement. Now there is a case 2. The printf is used, that is Monday. Then again break is used. Then again use case 3. Again uses the printf, that is Tuesday. Again uses the break. I'm copying this data to another one. So this is case 3. Now this is case 4, that is your Wednesday. Then there is a Thursday. Then there is a Friday. Then there is a Saturday. Right. Now at the end I'm using the by default. Why? Because I'm using the break statement. These numbers will be changed. Now let's see. This is 6. This is 7. These are the various cases. Now the next part is using the default statement. That is, in place of this one, I'm using default. Then uses, what is the default value? That means if the number is not between 1 to 7, what is the default value? Simply printf in next line /n, that is the invalid day, for example. Now There is again break. There is no requirement of the break after this. And now I have to close this one. First of all, this one, this I have closed. Now there is one more curly brace that I have to close this one. That means I have to close this one. Right. Now if I compile this code, there is no error, there is a success. If I have to define the or I have to get the output, then I have to use the getch function. Right. If I compile this code, there is two errors. A statement missing, compound statement missing. This is getch of the compound statement is missing. It says. Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, thank you. Now, if I compile this code, enter a number from 1 to 7. Suppose I enter 3. There is an invalid day, there is a Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So the output is not correct. Now, let's see why output is not correct. Now, let's see. First of all, there is no gap over here. There is no gap. There is no gap. There is no gap. Now let's see. There is a printf. There is a break. There is a switch I. There is a ampersand. This one. That is the ampersand of day. The two variables are used. That is the day and the y. I. Then using the clear screen, enter a number from 1 to 7. Suppose this one. Then using the percentage d, ampersand this one. For I equals to 1. This is not 0 because it starts with the 1. I'm so sorry for this. It starts with the 1. Then yes, yes. Now if I come, yes, this is the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This everything is printed. That is a one day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Why? Because if I'm using the 4, that means the 4 days are printed. That start with the 1, that start with the 2, then start with the 3. So this is the correct output. That is, if I'm using 3, the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now if I'm again compiling this one, now my target is to find the 2 days of the week, that is only Sundays and Mondays. So this is the program how we are using the switch case over here. So this is how we are using the switch case in the program. So I think this is understandable by all of you. My motto is that, my question is that I have to print the names of the this one. I have to print the names of the days of the week. So this is the example how we can print the days. Now there is one more example. Suppose I have used the 9 over here. This is beyond the range. This is printed, that is the invalid day. So this is printed, that is the invalid day. This is not a day. Now this program is clear to all of you? Yes. Yes, yes. Here. Okay. 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 You want specific. Yeah, yeah. You want specific answer, not the detailed answer. Yeah. That is also possible. Yeah, that is also possible. Let's try. This is case 1 over here, then I is less than equals to day, then I plus plus. That is, if I'm not using this one, then what is the error? There is success. Now if I'm using control F9, enter the day. This is the invalid day. Why this is invalid day? Because it's not working. Suppose I declare this one as a 1, for example. Now if I compile this code, there is a day 2, that is a Sunday. Yes, yes. Let's start. This is 2, this is the invalid day, this is not correct. I have to use, or I have to define the variable as a 1. Then these are the various cases. This is less than equals to day, that is we are not specific to the, or we are not considering from the this one, that is not this one, that is not defining this one, that is not this one is not also okay. Simply uses this one. For example, I am using this one. Then if I compile this one, let's see. If I'm declaring this only day, then I equals to 1. This will not prompt. This will also required. Day is also required. This loop is also required. Then I equals to 1. This means 1. Then 2. Every time it will be incremented. If I'm not using break, then what happens? Let's see. That is that Sunday, Monday, Monday. That is it is also displaying the Monday 2 times. I is less than equals to day, that is depending on this one, it will execute. Suppose I am using the switch case for simple switch case, that is also not possible. That is also not possible for this one. What is the next content, or what is the next criteria, how I can use this one? Suppose if I am using A, B, C, D, then what is the expression? How we can use it? Suppose I am giving the day over here, or this is the day, for example. This is I am using day over here, I am not using here. Now this is working, right? Means in place of, instead of using this one, instead of using I am using the day variable which is given by the user. That is this one. Then if I'm displaying 4th, then the 4th day is Wednesday. Why? Because the 4th day is your Wednesday. Now your doubt is clear, Olesam? Okay, thanks a lot. Welcome. So I think that's all for today's session. Let's stop over here only. In the next class, I'm continuing with the next topic, that is how to use the typedef part. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. Now if you have any doubts of any kind, you can clear from me. You can feel free to ask from me. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.